row, whatever you want, just act like you normally do. Yeah.
The exact spot we met about 6 years ago.
Yeah, just by there, just behind you, the camera there.
And for those who are wondering, this is actually the bone of a whale. Its head, isn't it, near the head? So
Yeah,
it's like a spine.
It's the part of the spine that's just below the skull.
We met in January 2020 at this spot, and by March 2020 the country was shutting down, locking down because of the pandemic, and I escaped Sydney and came and joined Darren here in this piece of paradise. We started chatting about, well, what do we do with this time that we had on our hands?
What the fuck do we do with that time now?
Both had this dream to create a story at that time, for children that had sort of the wisdom that took us a long time to figure out on our own. It was just confounding to us to think that there weren't stories that had these seeds of wisdom, certainly not in the contemporary sort of narratives that we grew up with. And it was just mysterious as to why. Why do we, tell all these false narratives or perhaps incomplete narratives to children?
Not even that. It's just there wasn't any alternatives. There was just one worldview, one narrative, and there wasn't an alternative for kids or to have a look at both of them. It was just the one Western ideal of, you have to come first, you compete to win. Coming second is no option. Coming second, you're a loser. It's pretty much all of that, and not much alternative for kids who came second.
And what's interesting to me, as someone who came from an Eastern heritage, whose family was still very much practicing, the religion and the culture, was that it's the same Western narrative that I grew up with. Because regardless of our heritage today, the education system is fundamentally Western. So it's the same ideals that I also learned, to compete, to succeed, to outperform. And that's what the point of life is.
Yeah, which is, it's not totally bad and reproachable an idea, but it's not the be and end all, and that's what was missing.
Yeah, so if I were to describe the narratives we grew up with, I would say it's more incomplete, right? And it's because of the things that it leaves out that it appears to be false, whereas it's actually a balance between two worlds. And so that's a conversation we had, and we thought, well, why not create a book that sort of fills in the blanks a little bit and conveys to children through the medium of a very engaging, interesting, beautifully illustrated book. Here's some little seeds of wisdom that they could carry with them through life, and who knows, maybe it's these seeds that'll help them navigate the vicissitudes of their future lives. Maybe it'll help them suffer a bit less, and maybe, if nothing else, saves them a bit of time. And so began the first book in the series, Below the Wanderer. And as we, had very little avenues to publish at that time, we decided to start our own publishing venture, Wise as Stories, to bring it to the world. Now, this is where the twist in the story comes, doesn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
Well, it kind of does, because I don't know why I thought it would be one of those, we were doing a hard project, it's a good initiative, it'll sort of just happen. And what was interesting is the pandemic was just the tip of the iceberg. The last 5 years, the universe has thrown so many things at us, and I think, as we went about trying to preach this wisdom, there was a bit more, or a lot more wisdom that we still had to learn, or perhaps learn to practice in a more, or embody in a more sort of natural state, right? Because whole of life is full of ups and downs, and looking ahead to the world and to the future, it just feels like it's going to get much more disruptive from this point onwards. And I say that with two things in mind. One is climate change, and the other is AI. Both of these things now have a momentum, and artificial intelligence, both of these things now have a momentum of their own. And certainly for those of us who find ourselves in the arts, it's going to be quite the ride, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I've probably been in the creative industries a whole lot longer, so I'm used to it. Just a new obstacle put in my way to overcome. It's never been easy, the creative path, but it just seems to have just gotten slowly worse, I think, over the years, and it's become exponential, especially in the last sort of few years with AI. So I think that producing books that imbue the society with the wisdom to cope with this disruption, I feel good about. It's just reaffirmed what we're doing.
But to me, it has also shown the importance of changing, adapting, moving with the time, and also taking our message to a broader platform. Picture books have been a wonderful start. We've built a wonderful community on our website. We've got wonderful blogs. But most people, and we are included in this, are now consuming more and more information through the medium of podcasts like these. It felt important to take some of our messages to this well, it's not really new, to this new kind of, through this new medium, or through this very popular medium, to a broader audience, and share some of the experiences we've had as artists, independent artists, trying to make it on our own, as small business owners, and as just two ordinary people who are, doing our little bit in our part of the world to help, leave this world in whatever little way we can, a little better than we found it. And our sense is that this is the sort of conversation that we need to have more of, because a lot of the podcasts, a lot of the content, it seems it's just it's again a lot of focus on celebrity and high performance and hacking your life and optimizing your life and being the best, and it's just exhausting, isn't it? And you can just live a good, happy, healthy, ordinary life and just make so much more difference in the world. And so those are the sort of conversations we want to start having.
Yeah.
To, I guess, give a sense to people, especially independent artisans out there, and also small business owners. There's so many of us. Like in Australia, did you know that small businesses are the largest employers in all of Australia? It's not a bank, it's not a miner, it's not some big telco or some big techie company. It's small business, and it's these everyday stories, it's this everyday stuff that we do that makes such a difference, and it's what brings soul to the life and to our town.
Yeah.
That we don't exist in a bubble, right? Everything that happens in sort of, that's involved in life and living, that's involved in society and culture, that's playing out in business and politics, has an impact on us. And that's what the last 5 years has been about. It has been about navigating all these changes, which is only going to get, more accelerated from the sound of things, from the look of things. And so this conversation is about sharing that journey, right? Sharing that experience and the learning we have had along the way.
Yeah, and then seeing if we can, walk our talk as well, as all these things sort of we come up against these new hurdles, whether what we've learned and imbue in our books really do work. So watch this space, we still as composed further down the line when we get hit by everything, then it validates our books, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we're saying it's real conversations about life and living, and it's featuring the people and stories about ordinary people who are doing their bit to leave the world in a better place than they found it.
Yeah.
And that's all we can ask, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's all. But yeah.
I nailed it?
Yeah, you did. That's good. You did well.
Good. Let's see if it recorded it.
show
Okay.
the viewers what you really like.
We
Is the-
can't do that.
Is that, yeah, you can.
It's
That's
the best
thing.
version of yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
go on.